I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I couldn't
think
hear
I
you. I was
had
like, you talking, I couldn't hear nothing.
I
What's
had
going
myself
on?
on mute. I'm sorry. So welcome everyone to this live stream with Mr. Shawn Bradley.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be here in the
Yes,
big.
so a few housekeeping rules before we get started. As you come in, please like the video, make comments, engage. So we're going to have a discussion here. Shawn is always enlightening his subscribers about politics, travel, etc. So I thought, why not have an interview with him, asking him some pertinent questions, considering the um, political insight that's going on right now.
Oh, they're
So,
debating right now. Yeah.
yes, I'm not interested in the debate
Nah,
by any means at
not this
all.
one especially.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So, Shawn, I want to first, as we get into politics, can you tell me what your belief system is in regards to identity politics? Because that has been surrounding this whole political realm with the current election cycle that's going on. Can you give us a synopsis about that, please?
Identity politics, in my opinion, is deeply based in racism. I think that when you listen to politicians, they talk about groups and groups and groups. It's very disconcerting if we're all supposed to be Americans. To like the blacks, the Jews, the evangelicals, suburban white women, old folks. It's very, very racial because again, I could have something in common with a white 85-year-old woman than my fellow brother that's my same age, because we may have two different experiences, may have grown up differently, they have maybe been enlightened in a certain way, I may have been enlightened in a certain way. So if America's a melting pot, identity politics definitely does a disservice to the melting pot of America, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, for me, in the current election cycle, um, as well as historical aspects in terms of Black voting, we have gotten accustomed to this identifier in that, well, I know that this person is a singer. I know that this person is an actor, an actress. So yeah, okay, what they say has validity. And in part, what we
Yeah.
have discovered historically, uh, a lot of them do not know what the hell they are talking about.
At all.
Okay, at all. So these politicians pub them up and think that they're going to enlighten us to get their votes. However, we know that that is a farce. I mean, some of the recent stuff that's been going on with these rappers and all this stuff, they cannot even properly articulate a sentence. So
They
if
don't.
you can't even formulate a proper sentence, no, I'm not going to be voting the way that you're trying to sway me to. I mean, and some of the commentary that they've said, Shawn, has not been sensible. It's not been sensible for us, especially as Black people. So I am just like, stop it. Stop trying to pander to identity and give me some substance. Would you say?
I need, and that's the thing, and I hate for us as Black people how how we just vote down party line of a Democrat, a Democrat, a Democrat, a Democrat, a Democrat, and a Republican is a racist. And that's why I'm very much independent, because it be oftentimes the motherfucker that's feeding you the scrambled eggs with cheese and the grits are the main ones that when they get behind closed doors are doing you fucking dirty. That's and it baffles me that we need to think outside the box, and we need to be everywhere. We don't need to just be here. We need to, like as I say, get off the plantation. And then, like when they say about the Democrats, they say that you're on the Democratic plantation, and you see it when you have African Americans that think differently than the monolithic Democratic movement. They are attacked based on their political beliefs, and you're not Black, you're Uncle Tom, you're this. How about just allowing us as Black people that's been through enough BS? In general, it's hard not to be a Black person as it is, but then you have our own people attacking someone because they choose to think differently than you. And I hate that about it, because it's so short-sighted. It does us a complete disservice, because if we were covering all the bases, we would be a stronger people, I would say.
No, I totally agree with you. Especially which leads us into the next topic, what I call political ramrodding. And what that is basically, if Shawn does not vote Democratic, then his vote goes Republican. Listen, if you say that my vote is my choice, it shouldn't matter to you how I'm going on this side. And then don't try to use egregious tactics to get me to vote Democratic. See, the problem with, as you said before, with blacks, because of this historical thing about voting Democrat, we want to keep up that farce. However, the people who are doing it, obviously, they do not understand history in the United States of America. Because if they understood true American history as it pertains to the black man, they know that Democrats are the ones that were trying to keep slavery going on.
Hold on.
And that was, go ahead.
Let me stop, because when you bring up that talking point about the Democrats are the KKK, they're the slave owners, they're the no, they changed. They changed into Republicans.
No, and they all did not. So see, again,
that's what they
not
do.
knowing from whence you cometh. Shawn, not knowing from whence you cometh. Okay. It is just it is stupefying in the sense that, yes, you did have some Democrats that moved over to the Republican Party after the Whig Party was abolished. So you don't know your history. Some of you all fail the 4th and 5th grade. See, it is apparent and evident because of the talking points that you all use. So I'm going to say this. Yes, you had some Democrats move over to the Republican Party. When Abraham Lincoln declared freedom for slaves, okay, it was all about financing. They could get more money, tax revenue, from freed slaves. You all don't understand how this all worked, but the Democrats were fighting them, saying that they wanted to keep chattel slavery in the freaking South. And that's just facts.
And it
no, they have not changed. They have changed the way that we go about doing slavery. So you may not be in chains and being whipped and hogtied and being castrated and all this stuff, being raped per se physically, but you are. I'll go ahead, Shawn.
So, and also when it comes to Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves, I always tell people, don't look at him like, oh my God, this magnanimous figure freed the slaves. He freed the slaves because it was a strategy of war. It crippled the Confederate. If you come join us, you turn on your master, you will give you freedom. So, okay, all these millions of slaves, all these thousands of slaves down in the South, that's the stronghold of the Confederate. We got all these basically agents, insider agents that I'm going to get your freedom. Kill that motherfucker, turn on, and they who know the woods better than the slaves, who know the fields, who know the area better than the slaves. Let's get these slaves on our side. We cripple the South. They can't produce no crops. Master ain't got nothing but two boys. They lazy as shit. The wife fat as hell, and they can't go pick no cotton, till no land. We gonna get them slaves. So it was very much a strategical matter. And I used to look at like, oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, until I thought about it one day and I said, that was just a war strategy. And anybody trying to win the war, and again, if I live in the North and there's no slavery in the North anyway, I'm not missing out on slavery. I don't need the slavery workforce to continue to keep my part of America going, but those down there do, and they're causing problems, and we're fighting, so let me take their workforce away from them. And that's all it was. And again, why am I going to turn on my master? You ain't offering me nothing. Freedom? Okay, let's go. And that's that.
Exactly.
That is very that. And so when I thought about that, I started looking at Abraham Lincoln differently now. Like, oh my God, we revere Abraham Lincoln, because again, he didn't come into office with an agenda to free the slaves. It was just advantageous for him to use thousands of soldiers already in place. Yes. Because when they joined the Union, they had to face racism when they joined the Union. It wasn't like they got freed and racism was abolished. They dealt with more race. They dealt with,
You're absolutely correct. And if you recall, Shawn, because you talked about war strategy, isn't that how the Viet Cong was beaten out behind in Vietnam? Because they knew the lay of the land.
Didn't they, though?
Hello. But again, they use this terminology, being liberal, so much that it garners the attention of us. Well, I can do X, Y, and Z. Well, technically, that's a part of the pandering, if you will, to make you think that they're for you. Because just on the freaking presidential debate, just like when you spoke in your live last week, in that Biden has been in politics for 40 plus years. The tax laws are on the books, as Trump said. What did he say? You put them there.
You voted for the laws that allow me to do what I'm doing, and he couldn't say anything about it.
He didn't, because that is the facts. See, we have an issue with all of these politicians who have been in office for these long lengths of time, and they really are not doing anything. And see, people getting ready to go off on me because that includes your girl, Auntie Maxine, because Maxine's district looks like a freaking war zone.
Well, just like Cummings.
Yes.
I live in Baltimore. I live in the district. But
think
see,
about how long.
But Cummings was worried about the border in Mexico, the border of Mexico, and not building a wall instead of worrying about the black folks in Baltimore City,
in his district, exactly,
in his district, that need heat at the schools, need books at the schools, need the trash in the black neighborhoods in Baltimore is trash all over the place. You go to the white neighborhoods, it's pristine. Anyway, go ahead, babe.
No, but you're absolutely correct. I mean, she was just one of them. But these folks, again, which plays into all of this is part of the collective identity politics. That woman has not done anything. Her district looks the same way it did when her ass first started running. But that's just facts.
None of them.
I don't care who doesn't like it. Okay, I'm gonna speak the facts today.
Okay, let me ask you.
What has she done?
None of them done anything but get rich on their own.
Thank you, Shawn.
They are. I look at a lot of these black politicians and leaders as the plantation foremen. When I go to hop over that fence to freedom, they get that nigga back on, get that nigga back. That's how I look at them, because again, they pockets are getting fat where our communities are still suffering. We look at regentrification in our communities as a bad thing, and they make regentrification seem like it's a bad thing because the black folks that are in the neighborhoods aren't doing anything with the properties. They're dilapidated, they're fading away, they're dry rotting, they're being torn down. So when you see a white person come in and say, well, I can get this house for $50,000, put $60,000 into this house, and in a year it'll be worth $300,000, and they sitting over here like black folks all over America are sitting on gold mines.
Yes.
And they don't even know it. And then when the white person come in and put money into neighborhoods to make it better, they want to bitch and moan and groan about the fucking shit. And I'll be looking like, but you ain't did nothing with it. You can drive down North Avenue in Baltimore right now and see all these brownstones, beautiful brownstones that have dilapidated over the years, that were beautiful places when in the 60s and 70s that black folks took pride in their neighborhoods and pride in home ownership, and their kids, their descendants, their grandkids ain't paying no property taxes. How pay for? You ain't paying no property taxes. The white folks waiting for the shit to go up on tax liens. They gonna go buy the house out from you, pay the taxes, get your property. They gonna wait a good year because they gotta. If you live there, they gotta wait a year. They gonna wait a whole year. I gotta pay $6,000 for your property. I'm gonna wait a whole year, and then I'm gonna come evict your ass, and I own your property. And you have, and the thing is, you have, because I read up on it, because I was gonna I might start buying tax properties eventually one day. And if I go buy your property for $6,000, pay your taxes for $6,000 on this house worth $300,000, I pay $6,000 in taxes, and I own your property. You know you have within 12 months to come up with that money, so to pay me my money, because I can't take ownership of the home immediately. They give you a recourse to get your property back.
Correct.
So within them 12 months. You have 12 months to come up with this money. You ain't reading your mail. You ain't paying attention. Next thing you know, you get an eviction notice. Y'all don't own grandma's house no more. I own grandma's house now. Y'all had 12 whole months. And now y'all got to go pay rent somebody. Y'all got to go pay somebody some rent somewhere where you was living rent-free, mortgage-free, and all you had to do was keep up on the taxes. But we're too fucking stupid to understand that concept. But then we'll go pay $1,300 damn dollars a month for the rest of our life somewhere else. So it's hard. So let me point you into this direction when it comes to identity politics.
Okay.
I was talking to my coworkers at work because we are a tough bunch, so we could talk about politics stuff at work and get away with it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I give them hell, baby. We be no, but and it's a lot of us. It's a lot of black people too, so that's very interesting.
Okay.
So they were talking about, you know how at the debate they asked Donald Trump would he denounce the KKK, and he had already put them on the domestic terrorist list. He'd already denounced people many times over. But so that was why we here. I don't know. But one of the arguments that I saw on social media was that Donald Trump is racist because he testified or spoke out against the Central Park Five. Those are 5 black men, people. 5 black men that Donald Trump was on the wrong side of 5 black men. Okay. So I asked my coworker, I said, yes, they called Donald Trump a racist and they used that as their argument. I said, but Joe Biden co-authored that 1994 crime bill that put hundreds of thousands of African Americans in jail and helped contribute to the decimation of the African American family. Stripped fathers from their homes from little petty crimes.
Yes.
And so when you compare apples to oranges, one life being affected by anybody is fucked up. But 5 lives compared to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives over the course of the last 20 some odd years. What? Huh? What's going on here? So and then they go on to say, well, that 1994 crime bill had to do with money because they were privatizing the jail. They were privatizing the prison, so they was going to make money. I said, so they're going to make money off of building prisons and privatizing these prisons. I said, but yeah, who filled up those prisons? Who backs did they make the money off of? So black folks had to go to jail, get unjust sentences for bullshit, so these white folks can continue to get richer, and the people that crafted these crime bills, they got kickbacks. They got kickbacks. They got kickbacks. And they'll say Donald Trump is racist because of 5 black men, but they won't say nothing about Joe Biden, who signed the 1994 crime bill, co-authored it, and has fucked up the black community in more ways than we can even fathom.
Here's the contention, Shawn, and you hit it right on the head. I'm not saying that they're not behind, and this conversation is going to elude that we are Trump supporters. I don't care what you think about me.
Yeah, it's going to say that.
Okay. I picked no party, and I don't vote against my own interests, okay? Because I am black, and you all need to stop voting based on identity politics, which we just discussed. But here's the contention, is that every time, like you say, every time you bring up Joe Biden's record, the minuscule portions that they bring out, they don't equate in terms of being equal, balancing the scales, like you say, balancing the scales of justice. So I am not contending that Trump is not a racist. I don't know his heart. I'm not going to contend that. But what I am going to contend, this man has no track record in putting millions of black people that look like me, that look like people I know, people I love, in prison. And that privatization of prisons, see, we as a people, we have got to pick which poison we want. And this is what I mean by that. So you say that you want all of this stuff, but yet the person that you say that you're voting for is against all the stuff that you say you want, i.e. Joe Biden. And the reason why Joe Biden is not confronting a lot of the stuff that he did in his past, because how can he properly articulate a real response to what he has done to black people? He can't. And all this stuff about how they're basically, the Democrats are trying to get on board with this border, with the illegals and DACA and all this. They haven't even dealt with the issues at hand, especially the blacks who are in the House of Representatives. So you are going to get on all this DACA mess, but you're not addressing the issues with these draconian prison laws, which still are on the books and still apply to us to this day. Joe Biden has never officially talked about if he is going to repeal a lot of these 94 crime bill line items that he instituted. He has never addressed that. But you all are out here in these streets talking about y'all voting for him when your husband, who probably is a reformed petty criminal, could end up on the 3 strikes themselves for something very minuscule. But you all are sitting here going to tell me you voting for this man. See, something we, Shawn, as a people, we are sick. Recognize that we are sick as a whole. We are. Just like you talked about the gentrification in neighborhoods. I am a follower of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, okay? That is who I am. Practicing group economics. I recognize that a lot of times we don't do that because we have been scammed so often. However, you cannot continue to wear that cloak. And I'm going to give you an example. We all have dated someone in our lives. That person has done us wrong and egregious, but yet you kept on dating. You kept on dating. So the person who scammed you, you just don't mess with them anymore. You continue to persevere and find somebody else, like-minded individuals. Pull your money together. And some of these abandoned properties, like you were talking about, Shawn, you all could go in together and rebuy some of these and buy some of these places. But we are too busy worried about, well, I'm Democrat and I'm Republican and this, that. And... Listen, truth be told, the devil is the devil is the devil. Okay? And half of you folks out here who are watching this, again, I say this all the time, you all are parents. And you don't tell your children to pick the lesser of the devil. You tell them don't pick the devil at all. That's what you tell them. So why is it that when you have somebody with a one line item that you don't agree with, well, now you just, I can't fool with him. There is learning in everything. There is learning in everything. But you all are so hell-bent on voting against Trump because you dislike him so badly that you're willing to vote for someone who could put your spouse back in prison for a long and egregious time. Go ahead.
Not only that, but put your spouse in prison, raise corporate taxes for the corporations to not come to America, for them to take their jobs back overseas where the taxes are lower. You're going to get laid off of work. Your wage is going to stay low. You're not going to get a raise. You know, it's like it. And then he's going to shut down the economy yet again. We just getting out the motherfucking house. And my whole thing is this. What if Corona is here for the next 5 damn years? We have to learn to live with what's going on. We got to learn to live with it. It is what it is, you know. So it's very like you have to, as a black person, a young black person, you know, you're very much idealistic and thinking, you know, this should be a utopia, and then the bills hit your ass, you know. Yes. That mortgage hit your ass, that rent hit your ass, that car note, that insurance, those groceries. But mom and dad made it look so easy. I just opened the refrigerator and it was always there. And then you go to file your taxes. Oh, sir, no, you made $75,000 this year. You owe Uncle Sam. Why do I gotta pay? I know Pookie and Mimi don't got no job when they getting back $12,000, but I gotta pay. Yeah, you gotta pay. And then when that reality hits you, you change your mindset. Some of them do, and that's why a lot of youth are automatically liberal when they're youth. But when the real world hit their ass, they start be like, "Wait a minute!" They become libertarian, they become independent, or some become Republican. Because again, when you look at the parties and what they stand for, and that's why I say I'm very much independent in my mind, in my thinking, because some things I agree with the Democrats, some things I do with when it comes to money, I'm a Republican all motherfucking day. Don't play. When you say you want to cut taxes, I get to keep my money. I get to do what I want to do with my money. Thank you. I work for it. But the Democrats are all about, I'm going to take your money and give it to the poor. Well, are the poor working for their money? Are the poor trying to better themselves? And some are. Because, again, I didn't grow up in a rich family. I know what trifling motherfuckers look like that's happy that they got a $10 food stamp increase on their EBT card. And when I saw that growing up, that shit scared me that These people are happy because they got an extra $10 on an EBT card. Living
Yes.
in the projects paying $25 a month and you still behind on rent? That wasn't the life for me. That was not what I wanted. So I had to expand my horizons and look at things. And something that Mona Simone said the other day, we got to learn how to vote our interest. We are very selfish when it comes to how we raise our kids. This is my child. This is my household. This is my car. This is everybody should be selfish with their property, with who they are, how they, you need to be selfish with your political decisions as well, too. How's it going to affect me? Fuck how it's going to affect my fellow black people, because look at the cities that Baltimore has been run by Democrats for the last 40 damn years. Baltimore City is a Democrat stronghold. It ain't no Republican getting in Baltimore City. We not in the best shape. Look at Detroit. No. It's not in the best shape. And these are cities that have been ran for 30, 40 plus years by nothing but Democrat after Democrat. And when you look at this, and that's why they say red cities and blue cities. And there's a stark difference. There's also a stark difference with cities that are toss-up cities, that are purple, because they flip and flop, because it's an ebb and flow of power. There's an ebb and flow, but when one party has total control over a certain city, depending on if it's red or blue, you're going to have two totally different worlds. Also, think about it like this too. You as a black person, you live in the hood. You can't afford to get out of the hood right now, but you're working on it. You're going to college. You're getting your things. But right now, you got to do what you got to do. Your child got to go to school. Your child is bright. Your child is smart. Your child needs a chance. But your child has to go to school that they are in the district that they're in. And the school that they're in is not the best school. It's a whole bunch of unruly kids. Sometimes your child come home with a black eye, a busted lip. They got to hide somewhere, whatever. But your child is doing what they got to do because they love school. You instill education. You getting your education. What party? Hold on, fuck that. Let me rephrase that. What if somebody came to you and told you you can decide what school your child want to go to? You have a choice to send your child to this school or that school. That, to me, that is like manna from heaven for a mother or a father in a ghetto area, a horrible area, but they can send their child to a decent school. Shouldn't black folk have that choice, have that advantage? And that's called school choice.
Yeah, it is.
It's called school choice. Then you got to look at what party is staunchly for school choice and what party is dead set against it.
Against it. So here's a few things that you touched on, Shawn. A few things you touched on, which I'm sure the audience, I hope that you all are listening. Recently, this second stimulus bill that Trump said, okay, no, we're not going to, we're going to wait till after the elections. His contention had always been that Nancy Pelosi wants all this money going to these Democratic cities and states that have been improperly ran. Mm-hmm. You just said that. Being the stark contrast between a blue city or state and a red city or state. How they look, the appearance, the optics, okay? However, when you go and confront these people on the freaking red side, or not necessarily, okay, well, if you would confront, let's say, Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters, specific ones, they don't articulate why these places look like they look. They don't.
They have no answer for it because
they have no answer for you.
They are getting, like, these are people like Joe Biden has been in the government for 47 years. I'm only 39. He's been in for 47 years. He crafted 1994 crime bill. I told y'all in 2017 they show how much money that Joe Biden paid in taxes. He paid over $3 million in taxes. That's a lot of money to be making. Okay, he might have wrote a book or two. I don't know. But how did this man become a multi-millionaire working in a government job?
But Shawn, it's all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them, because they say for you and I, if we have some knowledge about a stock getting ready to go public, and I tell you, and then you go ahead and make a quick sale, you go into prison for insider trading.
What that white woman?
They are doing it
all the time.
Shawn, they have all the intel on all the newest military technology. They can go ahead and start investing in these tech companies that's working directly with the government for such technology. They're getting all. I wish I could get a leg in for that. So immediately when these companies decide to go public or whatever, they become instant millionaires, and then they see no jail time. And not only that,
only if you're black. If you're black, you get jail time. If you're black and you get caught, they're gonna send you to jail.
Well, they got Martha Stewart.
Yeah, they did
for chump change.
They did.
Granted, they may have been trying to make make an example out of her. Who knows? But they did get Martha Stewart now. Okay, they did.
They did.
Think about this too. The senators, all you have to serve is one term, and you basically get a retirement and health benefits, top of the line health benefits.
Top of the line, a private wing and Walter Reed and everything.
Name me a job in the U.S. of A. that I can serve one day on. Well, I got full pension and full medical.
Ain't no pensions no more. All pensions are gone. If you look at it, look, when I started my job that I worked at for 10 damn years, I missed the pension by 3 damn years. It's only 401ks now. It's only 401ks and your Social Security if it's still gonna be around.
The issue with 401ks is that it's tied into the stock market. See, every time the stock market goes down, you all losing money.
Yeah, I have a coworker that plans to retire in 5 years. Their stock market took a hit because of coronavirus. He said, "I got to continue to. I can't retire like I wanted to. I gotta work some more years now. If it don't come back, I was gonna go retire and buy a house in Florida somewhere and chill with my wife." And so it does affect people. But my whole thing is, I need our people to just don't look at race. Don't look at the person who's representing the red, green, blue, yellow party, whatever it is. Just look at these people's platforms and see what they're offering you. See what they stand for. See what they and look and say, does this apply to my family? Is this something that I want to apply to my family? This is how I think. And that's how I looked at things. And that's how I became an independent, because I like something over here. I like something over there. When we talk about money, I'm a Republican all day. Now we talk about social issues, I'm a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? But because again, they got different things on it. But we talk about school choice. School choice. That is school choice. Our kids are so vulnerable. Our kids are at risk all the time. We got parents that give a damn. We got parents that give a damn, and a child give a damn. But you got 15 other kids in the classroom who parents don't give a shit. The kids stink, the kid hungry, the teacher's overwhelmed, and your child cannot get the attention that they need, the type of learning they need. And not only do you give a damn, your child is clean. Your child is fed. Your child has pressed clothes. Your child has name brand clothes from time to time. And the other kids that don't have nothing is harassing your child because of their parents' failures. So your child is being bullied. Your child grades start to fail. They feel like safe. They feel like I'm being forced to go here. But you would think the party that would offer school choice would be the Democrats. But the Republicans are the ones that offer school choice. It is mind-blowing. They are the ones that want school choice.
It is someone drinking the Kool-Aid.
It is fucking crazy. For example, remember Friendship Academy, the friendship school, the private school that the Obama kids were going to. What is that?
Yes.
Something.
I know you're talking, but it's Friends something.
Yeah. So that school offered school choice, right? They offered school choice. They had a program to where the kids from the hoods were going to the private schools. One of the school that Obama kids would go to, that all the president's kids, the senator kids go to this school. They had a program in DC that allowed these kids from the hood to go to that same private school. So you could be living in the projects, but Sasha and Malia could be your classmate.
Correct.
Well, what happened was Obama enacted a law that stripped that benefit out. That benefit got stopped.
Correct.
3 black kids that were, it's on the news, it was on the news, 3 black kids, Sidwell friends. Yeah, Sidwell and friends. That's what it was. So it was 3 black kids on the news that lived in the hood, had to stop going to that school because it was no longer being funded. They had them on the news and everything because of what Obama did. The law they enacted, it no longer funded. Those kids had to go back to the regular hood school. So it got so much attention to where they had to give those kids scholarships in order to go to that damn school.
Correct.
And I just shook my motherfucking head like, child.
But see, you over here laying basting Obama. Why don't you stop?
But that's right. But that's what happened.
Why are you doing this? See, when the truth be told, and as I said initially, because even when you talk about politics, Shawn, you always address the historical facts about it, in that Obama had 2 years of a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House, and he did nothing with it.
But gave us Obamacare.
So when you all come in here and talk about, well, they have to work with him. Okay, so when he had it full of his party, tell me what he did.
He was a motherfucker too. Now, don't get me wrong, because again, things are better when it's bipartisan. When you can get people to cross the aisle and say it's so. But I'm not gonna lie on Obama. Obama was a motherfucker. He was like, I won. He pulled him into the meeting and said, I won. I got total control. Y'all can't do nothing but say no. And the no ain't even got no power. Fuck y'all. And that's what he did to them in the first when he won. He was a motherfucker. I'm not mad at him for being one. It's just the fucking truth. He was. Fuck y'all. It is what it is. And,
yes.
You know, so that's what happened. But go ahead.
However, Shawn, as you say that, we're gonna move into this next topic, which is voter suppression and gerrymandering.
Okay, let's go.
A lot of that was happening when Obama was running. Okay.
Where my baton at? Where my baton at? Because they
get it.
That new Black Panther group, they was outside of it, intimidating them. They was like, get your ass away from here. That was doing
gerrymandering and voter suppression. See, these parties continue to try to redistrict areas that they know favor one particular party over the other.
They both do it.
Yes, they both do. That's what I'm saying. Both of them. These political parties.
They should be clear. We're being fair here. They both do it.
Yes. Because they want it to be in their favor, so that they can win these elections. I'll give you an issue that just came up in Texas, because that's actually my home state. So the Democrats had sued in Texas to stop having where a person could actually, if I say I'm Republican, I hit the Republican button, it would go Republican straight down. They lost that battle. The Democrats did, because the Republicans contended, get your people out here to vote. Get your people out here to vote. But y'all redistricting these lines. You all messing these lines up.
That's some bullshit. So me as an independent, you taking away my choice. What if I wanted you as a Democrat, then you as a Republican, then you as an independent, you as a libertarian? What if I want to have a small? That's some bullshit.
It's yes. And there's a few. I'm not for sure on how many states does that, but there's a few. But here's what's funny. See, the Democrats they're like the bully that never was. They the ones that started that mess. So now that it's not in your favor, it's not in your favor now. Now you want to go crying wolf.
And see, I'm a cynical bitch, and you know, and I don't like being told things twice. So my thing is this right here. When I like right now, what's going on. You look on TV. This is the most important election ever. In 4 years, you're gonna hear the same shit again. This is the most important election ever.
Propaganda.
Every 4. This is the most important presidential debate probably ever. You're gonna hear this shit. I'll be looking like, stop playing with me. I'm a grown man. Stop. I'm fully formed. I'm educated. And can we get on the celebrity thing? Like Joe Biden already told people, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. What if Donald Trump came and said to the white folks, if you don't vote for me, you're not white? They would lose their fucking minds.
Yes.
Lose
but we over here playing. We for play. You for play, Shawn.
How dare you tell me? Then he said something like, then Joe Biden said something recently, a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, that, we need the black women, Joe Biden said, I'm able to sit at home in my basement because a black woman somewhere is stocking the shelves. That's what black people do? Stock shelves?
That tells you what he thinks of us. He behind the curve.
I'm able to sit down in my basement all in quarantine all summer long because black women are stocking the shelves. What the fuck? Like, where does that even come from? Where does that even come from?
You know where it comes from, Shawn. You know where it comes from. He's basically just told you how this was going to be. But see, we're going to sit over here and play like, what Trump said works. Trump has not had any systemic policy change, but Joe Biden has, because you know why? This man has been in office for 40 years. See, again, we're back. So again, we're back to that. And there's that. And there's that.
And then, go ahead, baby.
Well, I was just going to say, but again, that just shows the naivete of what we don't know or what we choose to ignore, because we want to play the game. Like someone in your chat the other day when you were talking about politics, I can't remember her name. She was saying basically why she couldn't vote for Trump. And then when we're talking about like having more money in your pocket and all this stuff, I saw her begin to switch, but yet her whole contention was, well, Trump would not disown white supremacy. Listen, let's just be real.
If I have more money in my pocket, y'all could be racist over there all day long as I'm free and making money over here. Okay? Again, I'm not going around the racist. If you tell, you're a racist over there, hey, how you doing, racist? I'm over here, thank you. Mm-hmm. But see, a lot of us want to go places where they know we're not welcome. And I've never understood why are you going to places where you know you're not welcome. Everything is not for everybody. I'm a gay black man. And in the gay community, there are some people in the gay community that feel like they should be any and everywhere. I have the right to be here. And yeah, you may have the right to be there, but are you really wanted there? Should you really be there? You know what I mean? Because know that you're in somebody else's world. Just like when we have our own gay community, our own gay clubs, and when the heterosexuals come to our world, if somebody's sucking dick in the corner, oh, well, girl, get over it. That's what we do in our world. Now, we don't in public in your clubs, in your worlds, but you're in ours. And but we have this thing about the LGBT community, in my opinion, that they feel as though they have a right to be included in everything. And exclusion is a beautiful thing, because some people don't need to be in your space. And you don't need to be in other people's spaces, but yet this whole kumbaya, my lord, everybody get a trophy society has bred a lot of sorry ass men and whiny ass motherfuckers that think that, oh my God, we all know, bitch, it's first, second, and third. The rest of y'all hoes got to try again. And there's only one number one.
And you know what, Shawn? That goes back as well to segregation and integration, because of the simple fact that we wanted to be so inclusive with everything, but look what it did to the black family. We have never had, our numbers of being communal and looking out for each other, buying for each other, are at an all-time low.
They said segregation
over here in the West. I'm gonna be clear about that. In the West,
in America,
okay, because we have just lost our sense of community. We don't have it anymore. We just don't have it anymore, because we wanted so much acceptance, like what you're talking about in your community, that everything else has just fallen by the wayside. Think about, because you grew up in Louisiana, and you all probably still had this because you were in a rural area. The whole mentality of a village raising a child. If something happened, your grandmother would know about it immediately. Your grandfather would know. Your mother would know about it, and then you get your behind, or your neighbor might probably, even in rural areas, would still kick your butt. Whereas now, touch somebody kids, Shawn, you're gonna get shot in the head.
You're gonna be fighting. I've seen it happen.
No, you're gonna be fighting. You're gonna be dead.
Well, yeah, you could, yeah, some places you will be, because I've seen it happen to in our community. There is a lack of respect for authority.
Yes.
And when I say authority, I'm not just saying police officers. There is a lack of respect for authority, generally speaking. Because again, my father would tell me stories. He was like, if I was over there acting up somewhere, I would get whooped where I'm at. When I get home, I would get whooped. When Dad would get home, he hear about it, I get whooped again. If I was at school acting up, the teacher's gonna whoop my ass. They gonna call my mom. My mom will show up in the classroom and whoop my ass in front of the class. And now you can't even snatch your child. Get your ass over here without the teacher calling damn child services on your ass any damn more. And there is a lack of respect for authority. We see kids in the McDonald's will cuss the fuck out of a 75-year-old man.
Yes.
Curse them for nothing. What the fuck you looking at, you old motherfucker? Get the fuck away from the bitch. They will do that. They will do that. And then we talk about police brutality and how police treat African Americans, and how you think that mentality has helped continue to perpetuate with their 1994 crime bill, because they done built all these fucking damn jails. We need niggers to fill up these fucking jails. Get out there and rattle up these fucking niggers. Who called 1994 crime bill?
Exactly. But see, they don't see how that has come full circle, which moves into, we're gonna do a few history facts here. Okay. The Civil Rights Act of 1865 ensured that everyone was a citizen. Everyone was a citizen. But when you fast forward to 2020, some of us are being treated as if that was never on the books because of the propaganda by these political parties. Yeah. And both sides, as you said earlier, they are complicit in that. It's not one or the other. They both are complicit in that. So again, you're going to have to pick which poison you want. You want the one that's going to make you go blind, or the one where you're going to lose kidney functions so you can have a colostomy bag.
Child, is it and when we talk, and right now with the massive unrest in our cities, primarily Democratic cities. Now some red cities are happening as well too, but it's overwhelmingly a lot of blue cities that have all this unrest. You got the city council that's hollering about defund the police. Do you know in Seattle they have paid a pimp? In Seattle, they have paid a black pimp $150,000 to do community policing. A pimp. Seattle is a Democrat stronghold, and they have they're champions for the Me Too movement for women, and they have paid a pimp $150,000 fucking dollars to do community policing. Y'all, he policed the hoes every night.
Now, Shawn, I didn't know about that. Oh my goodness. Oh, but see, you have to be careful as well as what you wish for, because in our society, yes, sure, historically we understand how policing got involved. We got all that. But there are entities here that we cannot control, i.e., drug dealers, gangs. Now, sure, these drug dealers are what we're going to call low level, because still, black men don't own enough planes to bring dope up in here. We got all that. But some of you folks, when the shooting goes down, the first thing you do is do what? What they do, Shawn? 911, how can we help you? What is your emergency? So you can't have it both ways. You cannot say that you want to defund the police and then get your crazy self on the phone and start calling 911.
But then they call 911. But then they call 911 and don't cooperate. And they're still walking around the neighborhood, wreaking havoc on everybody else, but y'all ain't cooperating. Okay, no. And you couldn't be in my neighborhood and acting a fool, because all the old folks, I grew up with my grandparents, and see, these are, my grandmother didn't graduate. My grandmother dropped out of high school in the 9th grade to go to work. You know, I don't know if my grandfather dropped out. I think my grandfather dropped out of school in like the 6th grade to go to work. Okay. They were homeowners. They were married. They raised a family. My grandfather worked for 40 years and retired from a company. You know what I'm saying? But back then you could drop out of school and get a decent ass job and
Yes.
build a family, build a home, and there was pride in that. And then we just, and again, crack made a huge difference in it. When it comes to the inner city lives and things like that, whatever, to help decimate our families in the 80s and stuff like that. But there's still a disconnect because I look at my grandparents and go, they were the American dream when it comes to African Americans. They
Yes.
have their property, they have their home, and then their children, a lot of their children regressed. My mother doesn't own a home. She's never she would never own a home, far as I know.
Okay.
They regressed. It took a long time for her to get a car. It was, so there are things like, how do you grow up in a household and you have prime examples of Black pride, home ownership, and you got a father and a mother working hard, doing what they got to do, and of course you got problems in your home. Every family does, but you would think that we should continue to do better. And I think they said this. I think they said this generation is the first generation that African Americans have not progressed, have not advanced beyond the previous generation. And I was like, wow,
that's correct. Well, what's showing the proof is in the pudding. Again, I just said how segregation, moving into integration, destroyed us as a community. Yeah. There, what you just said speaks directly to that. Because one, you were more communal. Think about when someone in the community was sick, or they were down, maybe they broke a leg, somebody needed to cook some meals for them. Somebody next door would do that for them to help them. We don't have that anymore. We used to have rent parties for each other if we couldn't make rent. All of this stuff. We have lost our way because we want to be so inclusive. We want to be so inclusive. Now we're not at all. And look what we got. Look what we got now. We got bupkis. You got folks, all these freaking celebrities that do not know anything about from whence they coming, but yet they gonna tell you how to vote. Sit your dumb ass down.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah, I want to answer this question. All Black All Day says, Shawn, do you think your military background or maybe combat leads you to defend law enforcement? I've never been in combat. My military background, I don't think has anything to do with me defending law enforcement because, again, I know that no one is perfect. I know that law enforcement is definitely far from perfect. They just like in any job, you got assholes. You got stupid inept people. It's just when it comes to police officers, a lot of people's lives are on the line, then more so than not. But we do need, in my opinion, I work hard for the things that I have. I don't want to live it. I could have easily lived in a neighborhood in Baltimore, Maryland, where I paid $25,000 for my house. I could have paid $25,000 for my house, been chilling, stacking all my coins, but only to wake up and get up and go to work and my car gone, or it's sitting on rims, or when I do go to work, my house has been ransacked. No, and I made a conscious decision because I was considering moving into the hood. When I was deciding to buy a house, I was considering to move into a certain house that was in not a good area, but I was like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna invest in this home, get it paid for, and once this area get regentrified, I'm gonna. But I looked around. Steve was like, Shawn, I can't park my car here. He was like, I don't feel comfortable parking my car night. And and then when I think about where I was looking at. And I said, if I look out that window and I look across the street at those dilapidated buildings that have yet to be torn down, those vacant buildings, do I want to look at that every day out my window, out my room, out my front door? Do I want to walk outside and see that? And I was like, no. So I had to double that budget. I said, let me double this. I was trying to be a cheap bitch. So I worked for this. I worked to have a good life. I've worked hard by joining the military, but the military was not my first choice. It was not my first love. I fought my father about going to the military. I went to the military behind his back because he was trying to get me to go to the military. And I was like, nigga, fuck you. I'm not doing no military shit. And when I started weighing my options about what I wanted with my life, the military was this bright, shining stepping stone that said, take me and I'm going to take you somewhere else. And that's what I did. And so when I look at where I am and where I want to be, I want my children to be safe. I want to be safe. I want my grandkids to be safe. I want my friends and family that come visit me to be safe. I want to be able to leave my house for weeks on end and know that it's going to be safe. So Is police officers perfect? Hell no, they're not perfect. Some of them are dumb as a damn doorknob. However, I need to be able to call 911. Get your ass over here, bitch. And I don't need them to be 45 minutes late because it's a horrible ass neighborhood and they ain't trying to get killed their damn self. I needed to come now. So I hope that kind of, and then also I grew up in the South. So in the South, we knew our law enforcement people. My mother classmate was the sheriff for so many years. The sheriff was a white man named Steve May. I went to school. His son was my classmate. When my brother was selling drugs, and they caught my brother on camera selling drugs, the white sheriff came to my mom and said, Roberta, get your son out of Columbia. She sent my brother to Detroit for about a good 6 weeks. So when they did the next raid, he wouldn't have got caught up in it. So I've seen the good and the bad of police officers. And they could have easily arrested my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, the contention with the police, and Deep Thinker brings up a point saying they need to be reformed. They do need to be reformed. They need to be reformed from a historical aspect because policing was started to catch runaway slaves, okay, so they can be hunted down. You've got to start from whence you come to now. You can't just say you're going to implement a lot of these systems to get that thinking out of the head. This goes for a long history of racism and prejudice in this country. So it is just not going to happen overnight. And no one, some of you are act like you don't understand that. The system behind it is what is the problem. You work on fixing that, and possibly it could be better. I am not clairvoyant in saying it's going to be better. That is not what I'm saying.
It will never be perfect. There will always be cops that kill people unjustly. It will always, there will always be that. I have a 27-year-old son, and when I tell you I have watched my son himself, a police officer with a white, black, green, and blue, could be driving down the road doing a patrol. Just doing their patrol like they normally drive through neighborhoods, patrolling the neighborhood. Nothing wrong with them patrolling the neighborhood. They ain't bothering nobody. I've seen my son, what the fuck you looking at, motherfucker? And I'll say to him, what the hell is wrong with you? They're doing their job. Leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we do things to draw attention to us. And me as a person that believes that we as African Americans have a target on our back, we have to work twice as hard, be twice as smart,
of course,
to achieve what they get. Why, if we got a target on our back, why am I going to go out there and start painting that bitch red and neon green?
Bright red.
They come get me. And I'll be looking like, why are you drawing attention to yourself? It's almost like you're standing on the corner. Why are we selling drugs on the corner? Nigga, get in the back alley damn well. They're going to have to find my no, bitch, you gonna drop your money off at this tree stump right here. Then you go down 2 blocks at the next tree stump. There you get your drugs. Ain't no money exchange nobody hands. They ain't gonna find me on no corner for no drugs. To be taking pictures of me undercover, and they got my whole life mapped out already, and they just waiting to raid my ass. Hell no.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on into travel. We're gonna move into travel. So Shawn, you talk about traveling a lot, and here recently you were given tidbits about how you and your partner go and travel to different places. So tell us, one, how many continents have you been on?
5. I haven't been. No. I've been to 6. I haven't been to Antarctica. I have been to Antarctica. I have been to Antarctica.
Me too. That's the only one I haven't been on. Okay. So in your travels, what would you say is your most favorite spot? What's your favorite spot?
Ooh,
you must narrow it down to one.
Thailand. Thailand.
Okay.
People are friendly. They know how to party. They're very free sexually. Not that mattered. I was with my partner, so we wasn't like we was fucking about it or anything. They're free sexually, so they're not hung up on anything like that, whatever. And it's very much, you can live a king or a queen's lifestyle for very little money. Very little money. So it's like, again, flying there may be expensive to get, like your plane ticket may be $1,200 depending on what time of year you go, whatever, or 1,500, something like that. Could be expensive, but once you get there, it is so worth it. So Thailand for me, probably is I like the best, the best.
Okay, and what countries have you been on? Have you visited on the continent of Africa?
Oh, let's see. I can't say Zanzibar because it's not on the continent, but it's off of the it's the
It's
island.
on the side, but
I know.
it's connected.
Yeah,
Tanzania.
Tanzania. Was in Dar es Salaam. We did South Africa. We did Namibia. We did Zimbabwe. And we almost did Botswana, but we didn't. And I can't really say Zambia because we drove through Zambia. Then we flew out of Zambia back to Johannesburg.
Johannesburg. Okay.
We just kind of passed through Zambia. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm asking you these about Alkebulan, of course, specifically because repatriation and blacks leaving the U.S. in droves, the climate right now. When I asked you what your favorite place was, I was a bit disheartened, Shawn, that you did not mention these places that you went to over here on Mother Alkebulan. Now I'm gonna come through this phone and come get you here.
Well,
okay.
See, okay. Yeah. So would I move back to Would I move to Africa? No.
Tell me why.
I'm very much Americanized. I love America. We're not perfect by any means. No country is, but like for me, as many places I've traveled, I love when I reach America. So I'm like, I'm home. I'm back in America. Oh my God. And I get that some people move to certain places. Like, I love it here. I'm going to stay here forever. Blah, blah, blah. I get that, but that's just not me. Cause Steve would love to live in Paris, or he loves France. He would love to live.
Oh, really? Oh, how do you like interesting?
Yeah. He's been to like the Paris like 16, 17 times. And
oh my God.
And everything. So he loves it. So he would I'm like, nigga, if you want to move to Paris, you can move to Paris, and we will, just come home here 6 months, motherfucker, just, because I ain't moving no damn where. I love America. Its faults and all. And again, I like the freedoms that we have. And I guess if I was born in other countries or had the proclivity to be going back and forth as a youth, I may feel differently. But, and then also, I need to be in a city. With the places I would want to live, I would want to live on a beach somewhere. I want to be on a beach. I want to be in a warm climate all year round, beautiful water. And I need to be near a city. I need to have the hustle and bustle, the life, the activities, the things. I grew up in a rural town. I don't need that. I had enough of that. I don't need to be bored. Okay. I need to be able to say, for instance, if I'm not with Steve or whatever, I need some dick. I need to be able to go find it. A rural area ain't gonna have that much on demand.
You said on demand. I'm done. Done. BOD. I'm done with you today.
Yes.
Done.
That is
done.
I think of those things like, when I see people like you watch House Hunters International and they move to different countries or whatever, and if they're single and if they're not straight, I be looking like, so who are you gonna sleep with? The choices, the pickings are slim. The pickings is slim.
Okay, no. Shawn, that's so okay. I get what you're saying from your perspective. Okay, but as a straight female, no, the pickings are not slim.
Yeah, for you, no. But I'm talking about me.
So, in saying that, okay, well, you didn't pick one of these spots because the spots that you mentioned, you're talking about the southern part of Alkebulan, the southern part. I've been to over 20 African nations, okay, all across the continent. And I brought that up to say this because a lot of us, me included, are just disheartened with just the ebb and flow of the U.S. Yes, I am an American, and a friend of mine basically got me in check last night because it's morning time here. Got me in check last night with my American privilege. I never saw myself that way because I consider myself to be a Black woman. I never considered myself to have any kind of privilege. But he made me see something within myself being such a hypocrite. And I felt so bad. Like, I cannot believe I am walking around here like I never saw myself as that. And it gave me a reality check
What were you doing?
instantaneously.
What were you doing?
Well, in this, so I was in this, I'm in this group about returnees, people who are returning back to where their ancestors came from on the continent. And a gentleman in the group, he is a Nigerian that lives in South Africa. He's been there, Shawn, for 17 years.
Okay.
So he, in the group, he posted that he wasn't going to share this, but he's going to share it. That he's basically returning back to Nigeria. He said, and all the Nigerians in South Africa were basically, when he was telling them that, they were basically demeaning him. Like, why would you go home? Why would you do that? You know? And so when he posted in the group, the Nigerians that were from the UK, oh, they had a field day with him, Shawn. They must have drugged him for filth. And so my contention was, I private messaged him and I said, listen, whatever you plan to do, have a strong plan and then have a contingency just in case things don't go the way that you think they should go, to make sure that you're successful in this big endeavor, because you have been gone for so long. So he, of course, he was like, oh, you're so polite. Thank you. So I mentioned this to my friend. And of course, he's Nigerian. And he was saying, you don't understand what's happening in Nigeria right now, because Nigeria should have been a superpower a long time ago. But because of the corruption and everything that's happening with SARS and the electricity not being stable. And so he went into the part about his mom having to keep buying fuel with a generator just to have basic electricity on her house and all of this stuff, you know. How he has friends who are doctors, and they left Nigeria to go to Canada because of all the mess that was going on with the medical over there. And you know, Nigeria puts out some bad, smart doctors. These people are fearless, and I love Nigerians. So he was basically saying, and I was saying to him, no, I was not. My contention with the people from the UK was this: stop making it like that the UK is better than from whence you come.
Right.
Because there's a reason why all of these superpowers are pilfering our Kebulon. It's a reason for that. There's a reason. Africa is the only continent in the world that has every natural resource known to man. The only one. So it's the reason why you over here. It's the reason. So don't be thinking that going over here is better, because it's not. It's not. You are just the untapped pool and not using the talent pool that you have to build yourself up. We have corruption in America.
Yeah.
They have corruption in the UK. So why are you sitting here lambasting this man? So he's like, Elizabeth, that is your American privilege. You thinking because you have the freedom to take your passport and go everywhere, that everything is all this, that, and the other. Think about all these things that you're doing, you know, as it pertains to your repadding back to Ghana and all this stuff. He said most of us would not be able to do that because we don't have the resources. We don't carry the passport you have. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, Shawn. I never, again, I said, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I just never thought about it that way.
There's a guy, when we were in Namibia, we left Windhoek to go to Zimbabwe. And we took the bus. And on the bus, we met this guy named Cesar. He was going to school to be a social worker. He was going to college in Windhoek University in Namibia.
Okay.
Yeah, he was from Zimbabwe, so he was going back home on break. So we met him on the bus. Like he saw Steve, was like, ooh, basically, you know, I got out the bus and came back on the bus, and he was talking to Steve about whatever. So we had made a friend named Cesar. So we stayed in Zimbabwe. We stayed in this certain town, and he stayed a couple days with us or whatever, just to hang out, chill for his next bus to take him home and stick some damn where. But he was explaining to us how it is hard for them to come to America. They would need a sponsor, somebody to sponsor them in order to come to America and stuff like that or whatever, right? And then on top of that, he's gay. He's gay in Zimbabwe, and that's not allowed. He has a very traditional family. We follow each other on Instagram. We still do, but he hasn't posted anything in a long time, and I can't remember his Instagram name. But I remember seeing him like maybe 2-3 years ago. He was like engaged to this girl. She was a lawyer, and I was like, but he's gay. And I was like, and they took like the engagement photos and all these different things. And sure enough, it didn't last. They didn't get married or anything like that or whatever, because this man is gay. And just like your friend told you, with all of the freedoms that you have as an American to go anywhere, that's one of the reasons why I say, I love the fact that I'm born in America. I could have been born anywhere. I could have been born in India, and I've traveled this world. I could have been born in India and in the lowest caste system possible, just completely impoverished. I've seen it all. I've seen when we were at the Taj Mahal. Steve and I were just sitting there, two black men just sitting there, and they took a baby. They just came up to us with their baby and sat their baby in between us. They didn't say anything. They just sat their baby in between us and stepped back and took a picture. And me and Steve looking like, what the fuck? What's going on here? You know, like, this is crazy. The baby was less than a year old. They just put the baby in between us, walked away, took a picture when it came, got a baby, like, thank you. Like, what? Huh? So, as we were going to different places in India, they would just come up to us and take pictures with us. And can I take a picture with you? Especially me, because I'm darker than Steve. So they was taking a whole bunch of pictures with me. And we finally got somebody to answer, like, why are y'all taking pictures with us? We're like, oh, because it's cool, because y'all we look like West Indies, y'all are black, and we're going to post it on our Facebook that we know black people, Americans, and blah, 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 blah. And the same thing talking to this guy, Cesar, in Zimbabwe about how hard it is for them to get passports, to get sponsored, to come to America for these opportunities and things like that. And that's why I say America is not perfect by far. It's not perfect by far, but being that I've traveled the world and know what these people, when I went to Indonesia, Bali is very beautiful, but those people live off of less than $200 a month. Less than $200 a month they live off of. And me and Steve had dinner, and the waiter said to us when he brought the bill, he said, because I like to ask people questions on how your country is. He said, well, your meal, he said, that's basically more than my paycheck. And then we just had a dinner for two, at a nice restaurant. So, and it's like, America is not perfect at all in my estimation, but I could have been a hell of a lot worse. And I'm in a place to where oftentimes if you do apply yourself and if you do work hard, oftentimes you are rewarded in America for doing it. I say oftentimes because it ain't always the case. But oftentimes if you do work hard, whereas in other countries, no matter how hard you work, you still are the downtrodden. There's no way to pull yourself up. I have to leave this country and go to America, a place where they give me opportunity to build myself up. And so that's why I say, to me, every time I get back home, there's no place like America, because I've gotten a firsthand education on how the locals live where I just came from. And I'm like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. And I'm thankful that I'm like, Lord, I could have been born anywhere. Thank God I was born in America.
You could, yes. And Shawn, but do you think, because think of how the continent was broken up so that all of these European countries could basically take resources and colonize them as well. So a lot of the poverty in things that you see, as you know, just like with us in America in chattel slavery and racism and Jim Crow, you lived hundreds of years with that. That cannot be eradicated overnight. And all of the systems and freedoms that you are afforded stateside in America, they came off the backs of your black men and women.
Yeah.
All of these advancements came from us.
Yeah, we built this country. We invented a lot of
exactly. And I'm saying in terms of our Kebulon, it's the same in the sense that, yes, you have corruption. We are the talent pool. It will take time to get there. You can't say, okay, well, they got their independence in 1960. That's still young.
That's very young.
Not even 100
But also, they got the independence. They were corrupt. Those officials were just as corrupt as well too.
Yes.
So it's like so. But when you look at it like our people, like I go to Zimbabwe, you can get a damn $10 million bill, $1 billion bill. They pass out like candy, because I forget the guy's name, that corrupt president they had, that they finally got rid of his ass, but he just fucked them up to where their currency, it's nothing for them. I can give them $1 and they'll give me $10 billion bills. Here you go.
Okay, so you're talking about so let me help you with that, because at one time I wanted to live under Mugabe. Mugabe was a rider. See, most people are not going to agree with him. Oh, well, he decimated them. Listen, Shawn, you know this for yourself. Here's a known world fact. If a black man is a leader of a nation and he is for his people, the West, the white man, will make him out to be a devil at all costs. And that's pretty much what happened to Mugabe. Mugabe was a writer. All of that stuff that was happening with the white farmers and him trying to redistribute that land back to the original owners before all this colonization and the name change, Rhodesia and all of this, that made him out to be an enemy, Shawn. You have to think about that as well. A lot of times, even when you see like some of these presidents, and you may call them dictators, and they have been removed because of coups and all of this stuff. If the West saw them as a threat to their program, they've been removed.
Yeah, they would funnel money into the other opposition parties and weapons.
Come on, you military guy.
Just like with the Kurds thing, how we support it. I know all that, but what I'm saying is, I live in America. I could have been one of those poor, unfortunate souls, in my opinion, to live in Zimbabwe under those harsh conditions with a leader that, as you say, was a writer. I don't know much about him, but it was a writer for his people. But at the same time, his people did suffer, and they are still suffering.
They did suffer, but they suffered because of the West. They didn't like. Prime example. Let's go not even too far back. When Gaddafi wanted to give the Nation of Islam all that money. Prime example. What would a black man do with that kind of money? You stop all that. No, all these embargoes. So there again, anytime the black man is very powerful, Shawn. He is very powerful. You all have a serious power like none other. You can see that with ancient Kemet. Even though ancient Kemet had lots of powerful women. I mean, all of the construction was really done under a woman. I don't know if you're familiar with that. However, you are very powerful. If I give you that kind of money and you're going to be for your people, you have the power to control everything. There is a little snippet in that. How is it that a small population of people control the world?
Yeah, well.
I mean, I'm just saying. So in that, the black man is very powerful. He has the power to unite.
But I get, okay, so I get the whole black man is very powerful. I believe in that because, like I said,
yes, all black all day. Exactly. That and the issue and the money given to the Nation of Islam. They couldn't have that. Exactly. Go ahead, Shawn.
So I use 50 Cent as an example of someone that when you a black man to fully dream, he transcends beyond the street life.
Oh my
Transitions beyond the I need to survive. I gotta do this because I'm hard, I'm this, I'm that. And you have this black man that I look at him as someone that was shot 9 times on the verge of death, that was in the streets, really in the streets, had an opportunity and change his life. Not only he could have been a gangster rapper and still be doing gangster rapper things, but then he evolved into a well-respected businessman, producer, employing black people, fellow black actors that are oftentimes underpaid, and giving them a vehicle to hone their craft even more so and make a living and provide for their kids. So I look at things like that when we look at our black people, but at the same time, it's our black people, our black men that are most oppressive to our growth spurt, to us growing outside of that box, to us being exactly who we're supposed to be, all powerful. Because we're only told that we're supposed to be hard and this and in the streets. And no, I can be hard and I can be soft. You know what I'm saying? I can do all things. And we don't do that. We're very much in my opinion, we are our own detriment when it comes to the whole misogyny and what's masculine and what's not and what's feminine and what's gay and we are our own worst enemies when it comes to that. And that lack of sight is what I feel like that stifles us as a being. Even with myself, I experienced a child to where I wouldn't let myself do certain things that I wanted to do in my heart of hearts, because how would people look at me? I already talk like a girl. I already got this girl mannerism. They already whisper behind my back. So now if I put myself up on stage, I'm drawing more attention to myself. And are they going to be, so I even fell victim to a lot of these things that I held myself back from because of that mentality.
Oh, I see that. And a lot of that stifling internally, that comes from our own sickness of self-hate. But I'm talking about the person that is aware. All this woke,
but you have
aware.
To that point to be aware. You have to allow yourself to get to the point to for you to be aware. Because I wasn't aware.
Imagine a powerful man who's aware with $1 billion for his people, what he can do.
A lot of things.
I mean, because just like you were saying, even with our culture, everything is appropriated from us. So that tells you how dynamic that we are as a people.
But when you say appropriate from us, half the time the motherfuckers is giving it away. Half the time the motherfuckers are welcoming in the Beckys. Half the time they're coming in and get this, and I'll give you another prime example.
That is true. That is true.
Tiger is a main person I look at and I could just slap the piss out of him, because his baby mother, Black China, a black girl that was in college, wanted to make money, started scripting, became very popular, became a millionaire scripting and whatnot. They got together. They had a family together. Next thing you know, he get with this ugly white girl that had 50 million plastic surgeries to show you what she. So, we know what she looked like for real and what she looked like now. It's a night and damn. It's a 365-day transition. Okay. So he gets with this girl, and she's she's underage, sleeping with this black man, getting black street cred. It's cool to be Kylie. All the white girls, it's cool to be Kylie Jenner because we all want to sleep with black men, and she's sleeping with a black man, so she's cool. And she becomes almost a billionaire off the dick, by jumping off the dick of a black man. But you won't even. But we dog Black China out. That's what I got about that.
You are. Hey. You are absolutely correct.
These are black men with means. I even say in America how they say, we need this, we need that. Oprah got money, the Smiths got money, a whole lot of black folks in Hollywood got money. Why don't y'all create your own studios? Tyler Perry did it.
Yes.
Why don't y'all create your own things? And then it gets to the point where you look at the whole bullshit that they try to do with the whole, I hope they cancel the idea, the whole Golden Girls redone in the black woman frame with the Queen Latifah and all. I was so disgusted by that, because it's like, why do we need to copy what the white person has done? We are creators. We are genius.
Yes.
Create your own fucking thing. The Golden Girls is the bomb. Don't be like them. Do your own shit. You ain't gotta do the girl and girls. You can do grandma. Muddy. You can do something. Call it something else with a whole black concept.
Remember Miss Bonita from In Living Color? I ain't one of the gossip, so you heard that from me. No, you have not.
Right. So when I saw that they were gonna redo the Golden Girls, I was so turned off. Like, we copying these motherfuckers now. I mean, we didn't get to the point where they done stole from us all our lives, and now we copy from these hoes.
Yes.
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 Come on, I always say mute the celebrities. You're right. Mute. I don't listen to a celebrity because half of them, they don't graduate high school. They're not educated. And it's all because they have a platform. Now they're supposed to be an expert on something. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, because the majority of them are not well read. Because as you know for yourself, like you talked about your grandfather, you don't have to have this elitist education to be educated. All you have to do is be able to read, pick up a few books, be learned. Well, some people call it be learned it like that, but all of that plays into it, and they don't, because they, to me, a lot of them want to keep the status quo. And for me, that's not an option. I don't feel good knowing that Shawn is doing bad and I'm doing better than him. That doesn't give me any means of pleasure, Now the caveat to that was, if Shawn is not a hard worker and he's just being lackadaisical, then that's on him. However,
I say this. When it comes to, we talked about segregation, and my father lived through segregation, desegregation, when they desegregated.
Yes.
In 1971, they desegregated Columbia, Louisiana. And he said when that happened, he said they locked us all in the gym at the high school. In the gym that I played basketball and whatever, he said they locked all the black kids in the gym, because the first day of school is gonna be a motherfucker with these white folks and shit, these good old boys and everything. They don't like the niggas walking up in the schoolhouse, So he said they put us in the gym. He was all in the gym. He said, and we were there till like 7 o'clock at night. Our parents came and got. He said, but we as black people, he said, shit, we had our stereo. We was in that bitch partying, having a good ass time, just enjoying ourselves while they was out there, bemoaning the fact that niggers are in the school. We had a good ass time. But at the same time, you go from in the 1930s, where Martin Luther King's birth home neighborhood was one of the richest neighborhoods for African American community in America at the time.
In America, yes.
In America at the time, to look at it now. Look where we are now as a people. I go to San Francisco and I see not only Chinatown, but I was floored that they had a fucking Japantown. Y'all got a motherfucking Japantown? I was like, not China. I'm thinking because Chinatown should be all encompassing, right? You would think Chinatown is just a metaphor for all of the Asians, all of the Orientals, but they got a Chinatown, a Japantown, a Koreatown. I said to Steve, God damn it, we need every major city should have a black town, a black section, a Afrocentric section, or it should be something about our people. I can go there and get some nicely made garments. I can go there and get some education, get some great books, get some spoken word. I can. It's.
But Shawn, when we had that, it was bombed. It was burned down.
In Oklahoma. I get all of that. It was burned.
Not only Oklahoma.
Other places.
They had Black Wall Street over there on your side of the woods over there.
Why though? Hold on. But why not rebuild? If we are persevering, if we are resilient, if we are the backbone of the world, if we are the motherland where from all things flow, when you burn this shit down, bitch, we gonna rebuild and be better than ever. There should be a black motherfucking section in every damn major city to where I can take my kids. If you have mixed children, you can take them. If you have a white family that has adopted black kids and don't know nothing about how to comb their hair or showing them their culture, I can take them to the African American Center over here that spans the next 6 damn blocks, and they can immerse themselves. I can immerse myself and learn everything I need to learn, and then some. You know what I'm saying? And so there's no reason why we don't have that.
Now I'm going to give you this. There's 2 caveats to that, Shawn. The reason why we don't have it now. One, we have to learn how to move in silence, just like how you move and you don't tell all your stuff, and then people are like, well, Shawn, he didn't say. No, you don't tell everything. I'm gonna give you a prime example. The blacks down in Georgia that bought those 19 acres and they went public. When they went public, they got all this backlash from all these people. If I had been in that group, I would have told them, we are not going to disclose what we're going to be doing here. If you're going to be disclosing that publicly, I can't buy in. Because of the sabotage, no one wants us to rebuild like that. All of the Black Wall Streets in America were very successful, Shawn. They were very successful. So the system in the U.S., yes, we have all these celebrities with all this money. Why haven't they done that? Because again, they're not socially aware. And a lot of them, as I said to you, a lot of them want to keep the status quo.
Yeah, because they rich off the status quo. They are rich.
And they want to stay there. They don't want you being rich on it. They don't.
They rich. And that's why you got to look at and bring it back to politics a little bit. You have to look at the motherfuckers that are telling you, that are enacting these damn laws with that whole do as I say, not as I motherfucking do. A lot of these that want you to do some of these draconian bullshit things, they already got their money. They already keep their money. They want to pay these taxes on your ass and take your money, or stop job creations that will get your child going to school. College is getting more and more fucking expensive, and the kids' degrees ain't worth shit when they get out of college. They can't even get a damn job to pay out the damn
job.
But the motherfuckers you're voting for want to raise corporate taxes and send the jobs over motherfuckers' seas. But okay.
Well, we can look, and they do. And you're absolutely correct, because it does go back to politics, especially in the sense when you think about all the jobs lost because they sent them overseas because of the taxes. We no longer have a manufacturing infrastructure. We don't have that anymore. And now the world is codependent on China. What's funny is they were worried about India being the manufacturing king. And look who came back and stole it. Because if you notice, Shawn, 70 years ago, China was in trouble.
Yeah.
They could hardly feed their people. And look at them now. That's not even 100 years, Shawn.
They done bought so much land in America. They done bought so much land.
Shawn, worldwide.
So much land in Australia. Let me tell you, when I go to Australia, right? Do you know, I don't even know what the fuck Australian food tastes like in Australia, because in Australia, there's a Chinese, a Korean, a Japanese. You everywhere is Chinatown. I say, all these motherfucking Asians over here.
Yes.
They everywhere. Everywhere.
They're everywhere. But you know what's interesting? I don't know if you've been to New Zealand.
Think
about the close proximity of Australia and New Zealand. And you're absolutely correct. Australia has been infiltrated by them, but not New Zealand. Think about how close they are. I'm not saying there's none there.
But New Zealand is small.
How close they are.
New Zealand is small. It's very more rural in the sense where you know.
Yes, but they are everywhere.
Yeah, they everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Yeah.
But it has not been overran like that. And I think it's because a lot of the laws that they have enacted there as well with that. But you're absolutely correct. You're hard pressed to find an authentic, let's say, Aussie restaurant, etc. You're hard pressed.
That shit is, that Chinese food is everywhere. Everybody, God, I'm tired of. I mean, I go and I'm like, bitch, I'm tired of Asian food. Fuck. I mean, so sick. I mean, they got the real authentic shit too. It be that, not even the Americanized Chinese. It be that real shit. I be like, oh my God. It then had a nerve to be expensive, because you know Australia is expensive.
Australia is expensive.
Australia is expensive. But yeah, so but so I look at things like that as like we are, as African Americans or African people, Black people, there's nothing that we can't do. We put our mind to it, and I understand the white folks being scared that look, the Black folks rising up. They think they better than us, because we are. Okay, but
that's a fact.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's a very defeatist mentality to not rebuild after you done burnt me down, to not rebuild in the face. And I'm like, we would have benefited so much from having our children go to Black dentists, go to Black, pediatrics, pediatricians and things, go to Black pharmacists, go to Black owned stores and Black this. We would have benefited so much from our children seeing Black owned, from our kids inheriting my father's grocery store, my mother's restaurant, my father's barbershop, my mother's hair salon, my father's car dealership. We would have been well served seeing our people doing what they say we couldn't do.
That is totally true. No, I don't disagree with that at all. I think just as a people, when a lot of those catastrophic things happen here, you feel maybe they were downtrodden, or rebuilding something of an infrastructure like that it takes a lot of resources, as you know. This is not something that you can just say, okay, well, Shawn, let me have $5 and I build it up tomorrow. No. That's not how it works. So I totally agree with you on that. It's just, for me, I just see an opportunity to take my skill sets and use them around everyone that looks like me. And yes, one of the comments came in here and said, well, yeah, because the Asians are all in Africa. You are absolutely correct. Again, that is due to corruption. We talk, as I said before when I was talking about the Nigerians in the UK. There's corrupt. No one here can name a country on planet Earth that has no corruption. If you know it, drop it in the chat.
It's perfect. But all day, all black. Don't thank me, baby. Think Lizzabitty. This is Lizzabitty's brainchild, baby. I'm just excited, but don't thank me. Thank her, boo. But all day, all black. Let's not forget, Indians, Asians, Mexicans are the new minority. Worst things to happen to us because we're being put down.
Because we've been yes.
Indians, Asians, and Mexicans are bringing their traditional mindset, that whole family mindset, that it takes a village mindset, and they are building businesses off of that mindset to where we are very much crabs in a bucket mindset, and they are moving up to where they are, where the Mexicans are, especially when it comes to construction, are competing on par with the white folks and are able to take a pay cut to get the job done versus the white man and undercutting the white man. And the white, I mean, they are fucking the white construction workers up.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
From town.
That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. But so, I'll give you a little story. And I shared this. I don't know if you caught my little video about my first time stepping foot in on Africa. But I used to journal really, really hard back then. Of course, we're talking about over 20 plus years ago. I was fresh out of graduate school. And I made a pact to myself because I saw something that I'd never seen in my life, even though considering myself to be worldly. The hypocrisy of the Western world, it began to wane on me. So I looked deep into myself about my own humanity. And as I'm writing, of course, in my journals, I'm talking about this, okay? So fast forward to, I want to say a few years ago, someone called me out. Because I would journal, Shawn, and I would send them out in emails. Mm-hmm. And hundreds of people, of course, would reply back, and they would say, oh my God, this, that, and the third. So somebody called me out on something, and I hate being a hypocrite. I hate being a hypocrite. That's one of my contentions, my personal contentions. And so it kind of got me back into where I said, back on track to things that I said I was going to do 20 plus years ago, where life basically got away from me and took me down a different road that I could not have even forethought that I would be going down. But that's so fast forward to now. I am back on to track to set out what I had planned to do 20 some odd years ago. Okay. Now, I want to be the change that I want to see.
There you go. Change you want to see. I'm with that.
For me, that's what it boils down for me. And repatriation for me is a must in order for me to achieve that. Okay. So I already know this is not a walk for everyone. We're all not going to come. However, the ones that do come, I am more positive about it than I ever was before, in that there's going to be more monumental impact of change, because the Black diaspora is the largest skilled talent pool in the world. Even though you have all of the skilled and smart the talent pool is out. So if you bring that back in, there's nothing, for me, my ideology is there's nothing that we can't do. Yeah. So I'm focusing on that. And again, I want to be the change I want to see. So in all of my travels, going to all these places, there is nothing like seeing Black folks. I love Black people. I love them. Now, I have a disdain for ones who screw over their own people, but I love Black folk. Baby, it's something about this skin. That skin is beautiful.
Let me say this. When it comes to Obama, I look at him in this way right here. I don't worship him. I don't worship nobody. But I look at him in the way of, this is a Black man, whether he's mixed or whatever, a Black man. And I look at Michelle Obama, and I said, this is a Black woman. And from her perspective, never in a million years did she probably imagine herself growing up as a woman, becoming a lawyer, going to Princeton, doing all the things that she did. Never in a million did she probably imagine herself ever being the first lady of America. Never. And when I look at them, I look at the journey that this black man and woman took together, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with their policies or not, I look beyond all of that, and I look at, and I'm just amazed and in awe of the journey that this black man and woman have gone on. And I can imagine him looking at her and saying, "Do you believe that we are fucking here?" As they are on the balcony waving to the American people, and they are. He is the leader of this nation. She is the first lady of this nation, and when I look at that, not who they are as in politics, just as black people, a black man and woman, a black husband and wife, a black family, and where their life has taken them. And it was he probably imagined himself at one point in time going into politics and being a president, because a politician has ambition. All politicians are ambitious. You wouldn't be in politics if you wasn't ambitious, So she probably, all this Obama doing his politics, trying to let him do his politics. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go home and make the money, because she was making the money in the family. He wasn't making the money because he was a politician. She was in the real world. She was making the $300,000 a year for them to survive off of, or whatever. While he was getting the community organizer paycheck, and then when he got into the local politics, he started getting the local politics paycheck. So she was technically, in my opinion, breadwinner. Yes. But then letting him have his dream and being supporting of each other, they end up where they ended up at. And to me, that is so beautiful. It's so romantic. It's completely black excellence. And I looked at that like, that is what I love about our black people. That is what I love about our black people. I'll give you another example on the opposite side when it comes to Gucci Mane and his wife Keisha Kayor. And he went to jail, and he gave her access to all his money, and she took his money and she flipped it and made more money with it. And when he realized that she was down for him, he could trust her, he came out of jail, and wherever you see him, you see her. Wherever you see, and it's like an honoring of his woman. If he on stage, she on stage. You know what I'm saying? And I look at, and I see, and you got the Obamas on the whole professional black excellence thing. You got the Gucci Mane with the whole entertainment side of things. As you know what I'm saying, very opposite sides of the coin, but they're still honoring each other. They're still uplifting each other. And with Gucci Mane, he was a nigga in the streets.
Yes.
Made a tremendous 180 turn on certain. I don't know him personally, but just things I can see from what I see, he's a different person than what he used to be. And that's on the script of a black woman.
Yes.
And it's probably the blind trust in a black woman, because he could have gave that money to a lot of other women that would have just spent their money and be like, baby, well, I don't know, you got to go make some more albums, nigga, But, so I look at how a black man is supposed to honor a black woman, and I'm a gay man. And but when I look at when a black man honors a black woman, that is what I love about our people.
Yes.
The other bullshit, I'm not here for it at all. I am here.
Tell him you're not here for
it. Man honors his woman.
Yes. Listen, Michaela, we've had the discussion earlier. He's talking about black love. That is totally separate. Okay?
You got to go back to the beginning, baby, and catch the politics. Watch the replay.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
we got to go back to the beginning.
We not asking Obama. We talk about just our people. Our people. So I do. But for me, being that I was born in America and being that I've traveled the world and I've seen how the other people live and the struggles that they have to deal with, and I mean, I love Thailand, but in Thailand, I can go to the bar and buy the nigga on stage. I can go to the bar and buy the bartender if I wanted to. How much and then when I take the bartender home or the waiter home, I pay the money to the club. The club gets the money. They're being pimped through the club or the bar. They're being pimped in when I take them home. Their hope is that I give them at least $20. They hope, that's the hope, because I've already paid for them.
Right. No, but I recognize the differences in that. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Malaysia. And so Singapore. So yeah, all of that. But let me tell you something. Just like you were talking about seeing that black look, because honey, listen, there ain't a man alive that's better than a black man. I'm just sorry. You know, I'm all about this melanination, baby. Okay, fine, all shades of chocolate. Okay, that melanin glistening like the droplets on ice.
Shaka,
Listen,
yeah.
baby, look, don't get me started now. It is, but seriously, it is something. And I went to an HBCU. So yeah, I mean, I in like that whole total experience. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So of course, my first time stepping foot on the continent, it was such an eye opening for me. And I talked about in my video how I was with some other people who I worked in the same profession, and they kept wanting to talk. And I'm like, look, I talked to you all from the time we left Phoenix till this airplane landed on the tarmac. Stop talking to me. like, can I absorb all of this?
Take it in.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, I never experienced air that was so pure and clean, and you over here running. Please, can I just get
take a moment where you are? Like even when I do travel, I make videos to show you guys, but they be real short and sweet videos because
they do.
I need to enjoy this moment right now. I need to enjoy this moment that I'm here. Like, you know, I don't want to just see it through a lens. I need to enjoy. So I'll take a quick. Let me get real quick. So you go take your pictures. Let me do real quick. All right, let me put it on. Now let's enjoy. You know. So yeah, but for me, I think I will always live in America. I just believe I will always live in America because just by me traveling and the way I am and how the creature comforts that I need, because Ecuador is very appealing. I can live in Ecuador for $700 damn a month, and I can live like a king. I can have a huge ass house on a huge property. Yes. I can have house. I can have a cook, a maid. I can have all that for $700 damn. So Ecuador is very much appealing. However, Ecuador ain't got the creature comforts that I need. You know. So I think I will always be in America.
Well, remember, I recognize that everyone is not going to make this journey, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
We need Black allies everywhere. I recognize that. So I'm good with that. I just wanted to, I said, okay, well, let me see his favorite spots, etc. But one thing that people I'm noticing too is that when people talk about actually coming back onto the continent and living there as their home, basically migrating there. Okay. So the southern portion of the countries, when you talk about, like you mentioned, Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, they still have what we would call a colonial presence.
Yeah, especially in
so it is not like going to Kenya, going to Tanzania, going to Ghana, Ethiopia. It's different. And Ethiopia is the only country there that has never been colonized. It's different, Shawn. So the next time that you decide to make your journey onto the continent, I hope that you will get out of the South. You got to get out of the South because you're missing a whole lot. Baby, you're missing the Maasai.
But the thing is,
I over there fighting the lions.
I don't want
you missing a whole bunch.
I saw the Maasai. See, but the thing is, when I went to Zanzibar, see the Maasai, and they traveled to Zanzibar to work security, for they work security. So the place I was staying in Zanzibar, we had a whole group of Maasai warriors that were there.
Yes,
they had their
wives
on the beach selling jewelry and everything. And I mean, we was really cool. We became really good friends with some of the guys there. So yeah,
they're interesting because culturally they're very shy.
Mm-hmm.
Culturally they're very shy, but it's funny because they're shy, but yet they're warriors. They will cut you down.
Yeah, they got their shift work out. They be able. Trust me. So yeah, but Zanzibar. I mean, again, I need a city. I love my beaches. I would never stay in Cape Town because I can't swim in the ocean in Cape Town because it's cold water. It's shark infested water. What's the point? No, I can't do Cape Town.
But Lamu, in Kenya is on the beach. You have several pristine beaches in Ghana area. I'm just the Gambia. I'm just saying, Sean.
I'm very American.
Sean,
I'm very
help you broaden your horizons up over
I'm very Americanized. I'm like,
yeah, you very Americanized. Look here. Again, there are nice beaches, brother.
That I can visit. I love living in America.
Seriously, I love a good beach myself. And I'm just saying there's places that you can go outside of the southern part that has nice beaches. Listen, you actually do Google it, you'll see it.
Oh, I know.
Nice beaches in Kenya.
What I need.
Yes.
What I need.
So let me answer. Okay, go ahead.
If I was to live in another country, it needs to be a warm country. It needs to be a beach accessible country. It needs to have a industry there. It needs to be a city needs to be fucking nearby. Like I can get to the city in the next 15 to 20 minutes, or if I'm not in the city myself, it needs to have all those things, and it has to have a decent gay lifestyle.
Okay. Well, so that's out of my realm. I can't tell you about that.
Yeah, and then remember, a lot of these countries in Africa are still, even though South Africa has changed their policies when it comes to gay rights and the LGBT rights, stuff like that or whatever, a lot of these countries still don't, and I'm not going in the closet for nobody. So I have that to worry about as well too. So so you as an African American woman, black woman, that's heterosexual, y'all got more options.
Yeah, you're right, and that's not my testimony. Again, I can't look through your lens because I don't know that life.
I need to be safe. Like there have been times where me and Steve have traveled to countries to where we would on purpose book double beds. We would book double beds on purpose. If we were going to like a Muslim country or something like that, we would book a double bed room. Even though we're not sleeping in another bed, but we would book a double bed. Even when we stayed at the in Tahiti, we booked double beds at the resort we were staying at. So you have to be mindful of where you are.
No, you do, and I ain't here. Listen, people, I'm not here to police nobody's personal life. However, but you're absolutely correct. You have to be safe in that. And I'll say this, and we can close out. We almost said 2 hours, but think about your time being in India, being of a person who's of a darker persuasion, and with all the caste system there. I kind of felt some kind of way. And people say, well, I don't consider myself to be light skinned. I call myself the caramel duchess over here. Okay.
No, you're not. You be more red. You be red versus.
But people would say that. So I didn't have any problems there. Well, that's necessarily not true. I mean, I chronicled my time in India, and just like even when you talked about India, one of your videos, and you were talking about, about it, how it looks, being clean and fit. Yeah, India is one of the filthiest places I ever been to. See, that's why when people say, "Oh, well, Africa," baby, India is probably the filthiest country I've ever been to.
Filthiest.
Okay.
When you can't even go to a Starbucks and sit outside a Starbucks, it's filthy. I mean, it's like the Taj Mahal should be like the White House. It should be pristine and clean grounds. As soon as you step outside the Taj Mahal, it's dirt road. I mean, as soon as you step out the door, it's a dirt road. It's walking cows, shitting every damn where, trash every damn where.
Yes.
It's not what you think it is. Like you see the pretty Taj Mahal picture, the pretty grounds inside the Taj Mahal, but immediately outside that wall, it's like, bitch, it's like you step into a time warp.
Agreed.
It's like a time warp. It is ridiculous.
Yes.
I got the hell about that country so quick. I said, "God, give me the."
Don't make me laugh.
They got cow shit. I'm saying they take the cow shit and put it on the roof. They put all kind of it's like a cow will shit. They take the cow shit and they put it on the roofs to dry the cow shit out. Now it's just cow shit on roofs every damn where. The cows are sacred to them.
I'm dying here.
Cows are walking around freely. They walk around freely because the cows are sacred to them. You drive down, you see a little 2-year-old baby taking a shit outside on the side of the street. It is normal.
Yes. Yes. No, JC Guard CEO, it's worse than that. It is worse
It's
than that.
way worse than that.
It is worse than that, honey. No, ma'am.
It's way. You
Think
see,
about in New Delhi,
go ahead.
because how it sits with the water. You think about there was the last time I was there, they had, because I didn't realize how bad the pollution was, the air pollution and air quality was, Shawn. They had a
so those the whole time.
Yes. So the guy was like, "Oh, you want to go sailing?" I'm like, "Sailing where?" Somebody in the Indian Ocean. Dude, do I look like I'm even putting my pinky in the water?
They swim in their water, they bathe in their water, they shit in their water, they wash their clothes in their water. They do. How you gonna wash clothes in some water downstream and the person shitting upstream? They upstream taking a shit and you washing your clothes downstream. Hell no. You don't water over there.
That haze from the water. It was like, so you had a water here, and then it was like this, the haze, and then up higher was the sky. But that haze was black.
It's, let me say this. You do not, when you take a shower, you take a shower with your mouth closed. You do not, you know how like sometimes, like for me, when I take a shower, I don't mind water going in my mouth when I take a shower, whatever. You know, you take a shower with your mouth closed. If you get water wet in your face, you make sure you close your eyes. All this, you don't want the water getting in your mouth. When you brush your teeth, you take a bottle of water, break the seal off of your bottle of water, and you brush your teeth and rinse your mouth with your bottle of water the whole time that you are there. You don't drink nothing on tap. When they ask you for ice, you ask for water. You ask for bottled water at a restaurant. You don't ask for no fucking ice. Don't ask for ice. Another thing in America, we like our shit ice cold. When you go to foreign countries, you will be lucky to get anything out of a refrigerator ice cold. They're not gonna give it to you. If you like Indian food, it's great, but I don't like Indian food, so I had I don't like Indian food. I mean, Steve loves Indian food. I went to an Indian restaurant. When you think about yourself, because I ain't going. He already know how. I can't stand Indian food. That whole experience.
But you're so right. But even when we went to the Taj Mahal, so that Taj Mahal area, like you said, Shawn, it is so filthy out there. It is so freaking dirty, and it's supposed to be a wonder of the world.
It was trash bags. And, you know, the fountain inside the Taj Mahal. You walk up to Taj Mahal, they got that fountain and long water.
Yes.
It was trash bag. It was bags of trash.
They had trash in there. People were using the restroom in there.
But Steve, in one of the pictures that we took, he took out it was a bag of trash floating in the water. He just took it out, like, you know, just, you know, photoshopped it out real quick. And it was like, I was just like, but that's just how it is. It's like, but so I love America because we're clean. We got our problems. We got our problems. We got our problems. Like every other country got their problems, but baby, ain't nothing like America. Especially when you done talk to the locals, the locals too, and they let you know what's really going on. Girl, no man, God come.
Wait, Cheryl. Read what Cat Money said.
I need to get an airlifted up out of there ASAP. Okay. And the sad part about it is, Lizzabitty, we did a 3-day layover in Dubai before we flew Emirates. So we did a 3-day layover in Dubai, stayed at the Hyatt Hotel, ate at the restaurant, the circular restaurant, the rotating restaurant up there, and all they had a wonderful time. Then we go to India. Why we do that? It's like you leaving the lap of luxury to the shitty streets of damn Mumbai. I say, bitch, why we do that?
That is funny. That is funny.
So
well,
now,
Shawn, I want to wrap up here. I want to thank you for joining me today.
This was fun. This was very a conversation, no messiness, and very much engaging. I liked it.
Yes, none. This over here, this real talk. This people with some you know, some nerves and things in here in their frontal lobes and their cerebellum.
Well to do in the mind.
Yes. The brain works.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you, have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you all for watching out there. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. So you all have a good one. I'm going to take us out with our favorite. You all have a good night.